Sarah Martinez, 34, stood in the kitchen of their Riverside apartment, phone pressed to her ear, listening to dead air. The call had ended 3 minutes ago, or at least she thought it had. "Love you," Marcus had said, his voice warm and familiar. "Just checking in before dinner gets crazy. You know how Dave's parties are." She'd smiled, told him to have fun, heard the click, then nothing. She'd been about to hang up when she heard it. Muffled voices, laughter, the clink of glasses. The phone was still connected, buried somewhere in his pocket, transmitting everything. "So when are you finally pulling the trigger?" A man's voice. "Dave, probably 2 months. Marcus. Casual, like he was discussing a car lease. "I need to wait until the business valuation closes. Her lawyer can't touch it if the paperwork predates the filing." Sarah stopped moving. Her hand tightened around the phone. "Smart man," another voice said. "How long have you been planning this?" "Since the promotion." Marcus laughed. It was a sound she knew, the one he made when he was proud of himself. "The second she made partner at the firm, I knew the payout would be worth it. California's a community property state. I just had to time it right." Someone whistled low. "Cold, bro, ice cold." "It's not cold," Marcus said. "It's practical. I've been managing her for 3 years. Keeping her happy, keeping her focused. She thinks we're building something. I'm just collecting my share." Before we continue this story, let us know in the comments where you're watching from. We'd love to hear from you. And if you're new here, click on the subscribe button so you never miss any of our upcoming videos. Sarah sat down slowly at the kitchen table. Her legs had stopped working properly. "And what about Clara?" "Dave again. She's cool with waiting. Clara understands the game." Marcus's voice dropped, became softer. "Intimate. She's patient. And God, she's worth waiting for. That woman is everything Sarah isn't. Sexy, spontaneous, fun in bed." The voices erupted in crude laughter. Sarah ended the call, set the phone on the table, looked at it like it might explode. For a long time she didn't move, didn't cry, didn't scream. She just sat there breathing. Then she picked up the phone again and opened her messages. Found her brother's name. "Daniel, I need you to come over tonight. Don't tell anyone. Bring your laptop." The response came within seconds. "On my way." Daniel arrived 40 minutes later with coffee and a leather messenger bag. He was 29, a corporate forensic accountant, and the only person Sarah trusted completely. He took one look at her face and set the coffee down. "What happened?" She played him the recording. She'd saved it before Marcus could realize his mistake. 37 minutes of audio. Most of it useless background noise. For minutes that mattered. Daniel listened without interrupting. When it finished, he was quiet for a long moment. "How much does he think you're worth?" "The partnership buyout was $800,000, Sarah said. Her voice was steady, mechanical. "The house is in both names, but I made the down payment. That's another $400. My 401k stocks savings. Maybe another $300. Call it $1.5 million total. And he thinks he gets half. California law." He's not wrong. Daniel leaned back in his chair. Except he doesn't know everything." She pulled a folder from beneath a stack of mail on the counter. Inside were documents she'd never shown Marcus. Never mentioned. Her father had taught her young. "Never let anyone know your full hand. 6 months ago my firm offered me a different partnership track," she said. "Equity partner instead of salaried. It came with a $3 million capital injection requirement. I took a loan against my trust fund to cover it." Daniel's eyebrows rose. "The trust from your grandmother. The one Marcus doesn't know exists." Sarah opened the folder. "My grandmother set it up before I met him. It's a revocable trust in my name only. Not marital property. The loan is structured as a business investment, not personal income. The equity partnership doesn't vest for another 18 months. So on paper, I'm leveraged to my eyeballs with business debt and no liquid assets. The partnership equity isn't counted until it vests. The house is underwater if we factor in the second mortgage I took last year for the renovations." Daniel started to smile. "How much is he actually entitled to?" If we divorce today, maybe 200,000. And that's before legal fees. Does he know about the second mortgage? I handled all the finances. Sarah's expression didn't change. He never asked questions as long as his credit cards worked. Daniel opened his laptop. What do you need from me? I need to know everything about Clara. Full background. Employment, finances, social media, parking tickets. Everything. And Marcus. Sarah looked at him. There was something in her eyes that made Daniel pause. Not anger. Not hurt. Something colder. I need to know what he's been doing with our money, she said quietly. It took Daniel 3 days. What he found made Sarah go very still. They sat in her office at the law firm, door closed. Her assistant under strict orders not to disturb them. Marcus opened a business account 8 months ago, Daniel said, pulling up bank statements on his laptop. Cascade Consulting LLC. Registered agent is him. Sole member. What kind of business? On paper? Marketing consulting. In reality? Daniel turned the screen toward her. He's been funneling money from your joint account into it. Small amounts. 500 here, 1,000 there. It adds up to $43,000. Sarah's jaw tightened. I balance that account every month. He was smart about it. The withdrawals were irregular, mixed in with legitimate expenses. Groceries, gas, dinners out. Easy to miss if you weren't looking for a pattern. Where's the money now? That's where it gets interesting. Daniel pulled up another document. 2 weeks ago, he transferred $38,000 to a brokerage account. In Clara's name. Sarah was quiet for a moment. He's investing for her. With my money. It gets better. Daniel's smile was sharp. Clara Reeves, 31, works as a sales coordinator at a medical device company. Makes $60,000 a year. Lives in a condo in Marina del Rey that rents for $3,000 a month. Drives a BMW she can't afford. And according to her Instagram, she just got back from Cabo. 5-star resort. The kind of trip that costs 10 grand minimum. He took her. I checked his credit card statements from the joint account. The ones you have access to? There's a charge to that exact resort. Dated 2 months ago. He told you he was at a sales conference in Phoenix. Sarah didn't react. She was past reactions now. But what happened next changed everything. There's one more thing, Daniel said carefully. I pulled corporate records for Cascade Consulting. Marcus filed an operating agreement 3 months ago. It lists Clara as a 50% owner. He made her a business partner. With your money. And here's the kicker, if you divorce him, he can argue the business is a marital asset that needs to be split. But because Clara owns half, the valuation gets messy. He could drag it out for years, cost you a fortune in legal fees, and still walk away with a chunk of it. Sarah stared at the screen for a long time. He's been planning this longer than I thought, she said finally. At least a year, Daniel agreed. This wasn't impulsive. This was calculated. Sarah stood up, walked to the window, looked out over the city. When she turned back, her expression was calm, composed. The same look she wore when she eviscerated opposing counsel in depositions. I need you to do something else, she said. And I need it done quietly. The law firm of Martinez and Heller had its annual gala 3 weeks later. Black tie, 200 guests, held in the ballroom of the Langham Hotel. Partners, clients, vendors, investors. The kind of event where deals were made and reputations were built. Marcus wore a new tuxedo. Sarah had bought it for him without comment. He looked good in it and he knew it. She wore a red dress that cost more than his suit. Simple. Elegant. The kind of dress that made people look twice. They arrived together. Smiled for the photographer. Worked the room as a unit. Marcus played his part perfectly. Attentive husband, proud supporter, charming conversationalist. He introduced Sarah to people she already knew, laughed at jokes she'd heard before, kept his hand on the small of her back like a claim. Sarah let him. At 8:30, the managing partner took the stage to give his annual address. Thanked everyone for coming. Recognized outstanding achievements. Called out 3 new equity partners by name. Sarah's was first. The applause was warm. Genuine. She walked to the stage, shook hands, accepted a crystal plaque she'd never display. When she took the microphone, the room went quiet. "Thank you," she said. Her voice carried easily. "I'm honored to be standing here tonight, and I'm grateful to everyone who supported me on this journey." She paused. "Let the moment breathe. But I need to take a moment to acknowledge something personal." Her eyes found Marcus in the crowd. He was smiling, beaming with pride. "My husband has been asking me for months what this partnership really means, what it's worth, how it affects our future together." Marcus's smile faltered slightly. "So I want to share something with all of you tonight," Sarah continued, "because transparency matters, especially in a marriage." She pulled a folded document from her clutch, opened it, let the silence stretch. 3 weeks ago, I filed for divorce." The room went completely still. Marcus's face drained of color. "I did it quietly," Sarah said, "through a separate attorney, not through this firm. I wanted to make sure everything was handled correctly, professionally." She looked directly at him now. "I also took the liberty of having a forensic accountant review our finances. It's amazing what you can find when you actually look. Joint accounts, business registrations, fraudulent transfers. $43,000 moved from our marital assets into a shell company. A shell company my husband created with his girlfriend." Someone gasped. Sarah didn't look to see who. "Her name is Clara Reeves," Sarah continued. "She's here tonight, actually. Guest of one of our vendors. She didn't know I knew. Neither did Marcus." If you're enjoying this story, hit the like button and let us know in the comments. What would you do in Sarah's position? Marcus tried to move toward the stage. Daniel stepped into his path, calm and immovable. "Here's what's going to happen," Sarah said. "The divorce is already filed. The asset division has already been calculated. Because Marcus was so concerned about my partnership, I made sure to time the filing perfectly. My equity doesn't vest for another year, so it's not counted as marital property. The business loan I took against my trust fund, a trust Marcus never knew existed, is considered debt, not income. The house has a second mortgage he never bothered to review." She refolded the document, slipped it back into her clutch. "After legal fees and proper valuation, Marcus is entitled to approximately $187,000. Not the $750,000 he was expecting. I've also filed a civil suit for the recovery of the $43,000 he stole. With interest and damages, that should wipe out most of his settlement." The room was absolutely silent. "Oh, and one more thing." Sarah's smile was small, sharp. "I had my attorney send a copy of all the financial records to the IRS. Turns out Marcus never reported that business income or filed taxes for his LLC. They're very interested in talking to him." She stepped away from the microphone, walked down from the stage. The crowd parted like water. When she reached Marcus, she stopped. "You said you were managing me," she said quietly. Only he could hear her now. "You were wrong. I was managing you. I just let you think you were winning." She walked past him without waiting for a response. Daniel followed. 6 months later, the divorce was finalized. Marcus received $142,000 after all deductions. Clara left him 2 months into the legal battle when she realized he had no money. The IRS settlement cost him another $60,000 in back taxes and penalties. He moved into a studio apartment in Van Nuys. Sarah's equity partnership vested on schedule. The $3 million capital injection turned into a $6 million stake in the firm within 18 months. She never remarried. Didn't need to. Some nights she still thought about that phone call. The sound of his voice when he thought no one was listening. The casual cruelty of it. But mostly she thought about the moment on that stage. The look on his face when he realized he'd lost everything. Not because she'd been lucky. Because she'd been smart. And because he'd underestimated her from the very beginning. So what do you think? Was Sarah's revenge justified? Or did she go too far? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this. Trust us, you won't want to miss what's coming next.